The first time she said it out loud, the room went silent. "He's just a janitor," the woman snapped, her voice sharp with impatience, echoing off the glass walls of the corporate boardroom. At the far end of the table, a single man paused mid-step, a mop in one hand and a bucket in the other. He lowered his eyes, not because he was ashamed, but because he had learned that silence was often safer than defending yourself in places where no one wanted to hear your story. What no one in that room knew was that the man they had dismissed so easily was carrying more than a cleaning cart. He was carrying years of quiet sacrifice, a mind trained by hardship, and a solution no one else had been able to see. His name was Orav Malik, and every morning before dawn, he woke up in a small rented room with peeling paint and a window that rattled when the buses passed by. His daughter, Noor, slept on a thin mattress beside his bed, her school uniform folded neatly on a chair because there was no cupboard. Orav would watch her for a moment every day before waking her, memorizing the rise and fall of her chest, reminding himself why he kept going. After his wife passed away from a sudden illness 3 years earlier, the world had not paused to let him grieve. Bills arrived. Rent was due. A 6-year-old girl needed breakfast, school fees, and a father who could somehow be both strong and gentle at the same time. Orav had taken the janitor job at Halcyon Tech because it was steady, because it paid on time, and because it allowed him to work night shifts so he could drop Noor at school in the morning. Halcyon Tech was a place where ambition wore expensive suits and confidence echoed in polished hallways. Orav moved through those halls unnoticed, wiping fingerprints off glass doors, emptying trash bins filled with ideas that had failed, and listening. People rarely paid attention to janitors, which meant they spoke freely around him. He heard arguments about deadlines, whispered panic about failing systems, and late-night debates about a project that was slowly becoming the company's biggest nightmare. Project Orion, they called it. A complex infrastructure overhaul meant to save the company millions. Instead, it had stalled for months, bleeding money and morale. Teams came and went. Consultants were flown in and flown out. Whiteboards filled with diagrams were erased and redrawn. Nothing worked. Orav never said a word. But he listened. Years ago, before life took a cruel turn, Orav had been an engineer. Not the kind who chased promotions, but the kind who loved solving problems. He had worked in systems architecture, designing networks meant to survive failures. Then his wife fell sick. Hospital visits replaced office meetings. Eventually, his job replaced him. Skills did not disappear overnight, but opportunities did. When his wife died, grief and responsibility crushed any remaining chance of returning to his old career. So he cleaned floors instead, carrying his knowledge quietly, like a secret he never expected to use again. One evening, as Orav mopped the corridor outside the main conference room, the voices inside grew louder. A senior manager named Veronica Hayes was leading the meeting, frustration written into every word. "We've tried everything," she said. "If Orion fails, we lose our biggest client. There will be layoffs. Maybe worse." Someone suggested delaying again. Someone else blamed another department. Orav paused, his grip tightening on the mop handle. The problem they were describing was familiar. Not just familiar, obvious. The system was collapsing because it was built without redundancy, without a simple failover logic that could have been implemented months ago. Orav's heart began to race. He wanted to speak. He imagined standing there, explaining calmly, offering a fix. Then he imagined the looks, the smirks, the words he had already heard too many times in his life. Just a janitor. He went home that night restless. Noor noticed. "Abu, are you sick?" she asked, placing her small hand on his forehead. Orav smiled and shook his head. "No, Jan. Just tired." But as she fell asleep, he pulled out an old notebook from his bag. It was filled with sketches and equations from another life. On a fresh page, he drew the Orion system as he understood it, mapping the flows, the failures, the missing pieces. By the time the sun rose, he had a clear, simple solution. Elegant, affordable, effective. The kind of solution that did not come from overthinking, but from understanding the heart of the problem. The next day, Orav carried that notebook with him to work. He hesitated outside the conference room again, listening as the team argued in circles. His chest felt tight. Noor's school fees were due next week. If layoffs came, his job would be the first to go. Still, something inside him refused to stay silent. He knocked softly on the open door. Heads turned. Veronica looked irritated. "Yes," she said. "I'm sorry to interrupt," Orav began, his voice steady despite the pounding in his ears. I overheard some of the discussion. I think I might be able to help. A few people laughed quietly. Veronica's eyes dropped to his uniform, to the mop leaning against the wall. Her expression hardened. "This is a confidential meeting," she said. "Please do your job." Oriv nodded. "Of course," he replied. He turned to leave, then paused. "But if you want Project Orion to work, you need to redesign the failover architecture. You're trying to fix performance when the real issue is resilience." The room went silent again. Not the mocking silence from before, but something heavier. Curious. Annoyed. Veronica scoffed. "And you know this how?" she asked. "Because you clean our floors at night." Oriv met her gaze. "Because I've seen this problem before," he said simply. He opened his notebook and placed it on the table. No one invited him to sit. Still, they leaned in. He explained his idea in plain language, connecting the dots they had missed, showing how a small change could prevent cascading failures. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. No one interrupted him. When he finished, the room was silent in a different way. Not dismissive. Stunned. One of the senior engineers cleared his throat. "That might actually work," he said slowly. Another nodded. "It's simple. Why didn't we think of that?" Veronica's face had lost its color. She looked at Oriv, really looked at him for the first time. "What did you say your name was?" she asked. "Oriv," he replied. "I'm the janitor." They tested his solution that afternoon. It worked. Not partially. Completely. The system stabilized. Errors vanished. The client was satisfied. Project Orion was saved. By the end of the week, the crisis that had haunted the company for months was over. Word spread quickly, not just about the fix, but about the man who had provided it. The janitor who had solved what no one else could. Veronica called Oriv into her office the following Monday. This time, she stood when he entered. "I owe you an apology," she said. "I judged you without knowing you." Oriv nodded, accepting the words without resentment. She offered him a position on the engineering team, with a salary that made his hands tremble when he heard the number. Health benefits. Flexible hours. A future. Oriv thought of Noor, of her mattress on the floor, of her careful questions about money. His eyes filled with tears he did not try to hide. Months later, Oriv no longer pushed a mop through the halls of Halcyon Tech. Instead, he walked beside engineers who respected him, who listened when he spoke. Noor moved into a brighter apartment with a desk of her own. One evening, as Oriv tucked her into bed, she looked up at him and smiled. "Abu," she said, "my teacher says my father is very smart." Oriv laughed softly. "Your teacher is right," he replied. The story of the janitor spread beyond the company, but Oriv never cared for the attention. What mattered to him was the lesson he lived every day. That dignity does not come from titles. That brilliance can exist in the shadows. And that sometimes, the person everyone overlooks is the one holding the answer they have been searching for all along. Promotion K Bard Zindagi Akanaka San Hojadi Hai. Ye Ek Galat Femi Hodi Hai. Oriv Kailia Bs Sak Tha. Halcyon Tech K Engineering Floorpar Ne Badge K South Kodom Rakta Hu Uselag Raha Tha Js Woji Shi or Dunia Mine Aa Gayaho. Yahan Log Use Nam Sabula Rohitha. Muscuratha. Leaking Unki Ankan Mine Sawalbitha. Kaise Ek Janitor Itna Bada Masla Hal Karsakta Hai. Kia Surf Ek Lucky Guest Tha. Orivye Sab Mesuz Karsakta Tha. Leaking Asni Kamoshi Ko Apnasadi Banai Raka. Use Pada Tha. Asli Imtihan Ab Shuru Hua Hai. Ne Team K South Pala Meeting High Mushkil Thai. Whiteboard Fur Sabagaya Tha. Leaking is Dafa Pressure or Expectations Ka Boji Zayada Tha. Project Orion Bark Chaka Tha. Maga Company K or Systems AB be unstable the. Management Chardi Thai K Oriv Wahi Magic Dobra Dekai. Kutch engineers openly cooperate Kar Rohitha. Leaking Kutch Log Use AB be Nache Sayupa Ayahua Samaj Rohitha. Ex-senior developer, Rohan. Aksar Bart Partana Dita. Ground reality Tum Zayada Jante Ho. Workeda. Akia Tumni Kafi Time Floors Pa Guzara Hai. Komrahans Dita. Leaking Oriv K Aliyah Harlafsek Choda Sazakam Tha. Gar Pa Bi Chizan Itni Sidi Nahi Thai. Nur Kush Thai. Nay Jaga. Nay a School. Leaking use apni abu ke sath zayada wak chahie tha. Oriv ab din mein kam kada tha. Meetings, deadlines, calls. Rat ko thak kagar ada to nor aksa so chuki hodi. Ek rat wo jagi hui mili, ankan mein ansu. Abu, ap furlate a rohiho. Asni demi awaz mein pucha. Oriv ka dil tut gaya. Use yad aya ke wo yeresab nor ke liya karaha hai. Leaking kahin na kahin nor hai is kurbani ki kimat ada karahi thai offers my intentions badi gay. Ek naya crisis samniaya. Company ka core data system bar crash ho raha tha. Or is dafa nuksan surf paise ka nai, trust ka btha. Clients gus minder. Bored restless tha. Veronica eni sida oriv ko zimadari de di. This is your test, asni kaha. If this fails, it won't just affect the company. It will affect you. Ye alpha's encouragement says ayada warning lag rohitha oriv eni parani adat ki terra sab sapala suna shuru kia. Meetings mine, corridors mine, chai machine ki paz. Use firm mesus hua ki asal masla technology says ayada logon ki beach communication ki high. Teams apni direction mine kamkar rehi thai. Koyak dusa ki bat puri terra samajani ko taya nahi tha. Oriv ko yad aya k jab wo janitor tha. Tab log usi nazarandas kar ditha. Is liya wo sab kach sun sakta tha. Ab wo engineer tha. Leaking usi first a wahi kamosh observer banapada.eksham. Jab office kali ho raha tha. Oriveni rohan ko server room k bahar pershandeka. Palabar rohan ki ankan mein gam tha. Gamand nahi. Oriv eni paz ja karpucha. Kia problem high. Rohan eni thodi der bard sak badadia. Asni ek critical change implement ki thai jo baki system sa match nahi kar rehi thai. Or ab pora network risk mein tha. Aga ye bat yupa chali jadi. Rohan ki job ja sakti thai. Yahin se oriv ki asli kurda samiaya. Asni rohan ko dosh den ki bajai askisath baith kar rat bar kam kia. Dono eni mil car system ko stable kia. Bina jishi blame ke. Bina jishi shia ke. Subajab servers normal chal rohitha. Rohan ki ankan mine shakriya tha. Main galat tha. Asni demi awaz mine kaha. Main tumhine surf janitor samajda raha. Tum leader ho. Oriv eni surf muskurika sir hyladia. Use titles ki zarurat nahi tha darias crisis ki bad chizine dir badalnilagi. Team mine trust aya. Log oriv ki pes surf solutions ki lianahi. Samajani ki lia bian lage. Gar parbi oriv eni ek phaselakia. Asni apna schedule adjust kawaya. Kachkam gar sakana shurukia. Ab wo nur ki sath dinakada. Aski story santa. Aski homework mine madad kada. Ek rat nor any use gali lagate hukaha. Ab aap mir sath ho. Ye lafs gshibi promotion says ayada kiemtitha oriv samaj chaka thak asli kamyabi surf problem solve karmai nai. Balke logon ko sath la kar chalni mine high. Jo admi karbi surf janitor k kar nazarandas kar dia gaya tha. Wahi admi ab dusran ko uparuthana seek raha tha. Use pada tha k aski kahani yahin kadam nahi hodi. Leaking ab woda k sath nahi. Yakin k sath aj bar raha tha. Kyun ke jabek admi apni kamosha, apni taklif or apni menat ko takat banaleta high. To koibi usi choda nahi ke sakta.